W. Kamau Bell, welcome back to the Tonight Show. This one, Tonight Show at Home edition. But it's nice to see you, and thank you so much for doing the show. I really, really appreciate this.
Well, thank you. I mean, I've been on the show once before, and I wondered what it would take to get me back on. Little did I know all the things that would have to happen in the world, in the United States, for me to make my second Tonight Show appearance.
That's not true. No.
Happy to be here.
Oh my gosh! I mean, can we walk through some of the things that's going on? Do you mind?
No, actually, before we do that, I just want to thank you for doing this. Not with me, but just being open to new conversations. I know as comedians, we all sort of have our lanes where we're supposed to be or where we sort of find our people. And I know this is not generally your lane. And once this pandemic is over, please get out of it because it's really my lane. And you already have a good lane. But I appreciate you as a white man taking this moment to share with your audience who maybe doesn't talk about this stuff enough.
I appreciate it. It's important we keep it going, keep the conversation moving and talking.
Yes.
Well, let's even talk about yesterday. How about the little press conference thing at the Rose Garden or the church? What are your thoughts on what's this administration is doing?
I mean, I think the big thing I want to sort of get to people right now is like we are actually living in the part of history they write about. You know, a lot of times you sort of think you never know when history starts. Like history's happening all the time. But yesterday was that point where they go, there it was. That's where the chapter starts. Like they never know when World War I starts until like 20 years later. Well, yesterday they were like, that was the day.
We got it.
Yep. Him forcing a press conference and beating back protesters so he could hold a Bible. And clearly he's never held a Bible before in his life. I think
was
he was
bizarre.
burning his hand. Like he didn't know what he was doing. And then his whole cabinet sort of walked over to him, and Kayleigh McEnany looked like an 8-year-old at the Grand Canyon. Like, do we got to take a picture?
I mean, it was bizarre. He held that thing. He was like,
yeah, he was like,
I've never seen anyone hold it like that.
Way.
Do you think the curfews are helping?
I mean, I was sort of like, in California, I was already sheltered in place. Now, am I curfewing right now or am I sheltering in place? I'm not sure which one I'm doing in this moment. I mean, I think the problem is that if you are going to protest, you're already a person. Civil disobedience is always about breaking laws that are unjust. So when Rosa Parks sat on the front of the bus, she knew that she should not be sitting at the front of the bus. When people ate at lunch counters, when black folks sat at lunch counters, they knew it was against the law or the orders for them to sit at a lunch counter. So if people want to protest, a curfew is not going to stop them from protesting. The whole act of protesting is things are so bad, I need to disrupt the narrative so that people will hear us.
Yeah. What's going to happen with protests if it goes further with this pandemic as well? Is there any right way to do it?
I mean, I think the whole thing with protests, and we've seen it across the world, is that people have to be made uncomfortable to listen sometimes. I want people to be safe. I want people to have masks on if they're out there. I don't want to see businesses being destroyed, mostly because a lot of those businesses will eventually employ the people who are out in the streets, you know, so I don't, and a lot of those are local businesses. Like when I see business destroyed, I love those businesses, you know what I'm saying? So
sure.
I don't want to see business destroyed, but I also know that like, coming from the Bay Area, there's a long history of protest. Not everybody shows up to a protest for the same reason. Some people show up peacefully, and some people show up because, now's a good time to screw things up. And if the big thing I want to say is forget the protests. If people have good jobs, they have access to health care, their kids are educated, the criminal justice system is there to protect them and work for them, not be against them, then it's hard for people to break a window. You know what I'm saying? Like if everybody's happy, you can't go, man, everybody's well-fed and happy. Want to break this window with me? No, I don't want to break this window. I got to be at work in the morning.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Do you remember being taught about racism when you were a kid?
Yeah, I mean, my mom wouldn't have. I don't remember the moment it started because I had a black mom who was like, it was always in the house. It was the wallpaper. It was the artwork. It was Dr. King records. It was always a thing that was around. I used to do a joke in my old act that I was 8 years old before I realized that a cracker was also a delicious snack. So, but When I was at the age when I was like about to start like going out on my own, like down the street to the like drugstore to buy a candy bar or something, she took me to the drugstore and was like, okay, now that we're in the drugstore, do you see that man who's following us around? I said, yes. He's like, he's the store detective. Everywhere you go in the store, he's going to be looking at you. And my mom was bold. She's literally pointing at the guy, that guy right there who's looking at us. And he just sort of stood there like, what? I just happened to be in the same aisle as you. And, and she was like, so if you come to the store, only pick something up. Don't pick anything up unless you intend to buy it. And if you buy it, hold it out, take it to the front, don't put it into your pocket. Make sure you know where it is at all times. And that's at like age 10. And that lesson is stuck with me to this day. I literally am in stores aware of where my hands are, what I'm going to touch. And sometimes as I walk out of a store, I will like actually pat myself down to make sure. Wait, did anything get in there? because I'm paranoid.
Yeah, of course. You get
and
paranoid.
As a kid, I was afraid of being arrested, but now as an adult, I'm afraid of being murdered. You know.
What is that like when when you're growing up and you don't know what's going to happen when you leave the house?
I mean, I think the feeling of it now for young black kids is even more severe than when I had it. Because when I had it, there was not the same fear that you might die, because those stories, while they were out there, they were sort of just out in the wind. You weren't seeing the videos. So like for me at this point, like with my kids, they're mixed, but they're also black because that's how America works. I feel like if I don't prepare them for the fact that the world's not always going to be on their side and sometimes the world might be against them, that's basically like negligence. You know, some people are like, I can't talk to my kids about what's going on in the world right now because I don't want to scare them. And I'm like, yeah, but that's like saying I can't talk to my kids about not touching fire because fire will scare them. You know, It's like you have to prepare your kids for the realities of the world.
Do you mind sticking around and we'll talk a little bit more about this stuff?
No, I got stuff to do. All right.
W. Kamau Bell will be right back, everybody.
On and on and on. I said, and it's on and on and on.